Do this?
I always want to do this.
Podcast. Two guys talking without wearing pants. Pantless Podcast. You can take our ideas.
Welcome back to the Pantless Podcast. Here's your host, Austin and Travis. Take it away, guys. What's going on? I just want you to know I've changed things. I can see your facial expressions now during the opening.
Oh, nice.
They can't, but I can. Like, is that what he looks like every time we do this? Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Welcome back. Did you miss us? I missed us. I didn't miss this.
You sound fantastic right now.
That's because I sounded like crap 2 weeks ago because my audio settings sucked. I hate Discord. Love Discord, hate Discord. Me and my...
But now we're great. I can hear you. The only reason our live episode sucked was because I couldn't hear you. Had I been able to hear you, it would have been the best show ever.
So, we found out that Discord was recording. We'll have to talk about that here in a minute. Discord was giving him audio through my webcam, and OBS was hearing me through my actual mic.
Yes. And I believe the webcam was shoved right up your rear is what it sounded like.
It's just right there, but yeah, it was. That's why I didn't look as good. That's why I was a little blurry. Hey, what are you drinking over there?
I'm actually drinking a Yingling. It's a lager from
delicious.
America's oldest brewery.
America's
oldest brewery. Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a horrible person, but that doesn't sound American.
I don't know. I haven't studied the history. I just read the label.
That's fair.
I don't know.
That's fair.
And it's actually pretty good. You should come over and
I should. You been eating anything good lately?
I had some burritos today. I had some pizza yesterday.
Nice.
I had some chicken scampi. So
Nice.
I've done pretty decent.
Nice.
Pretty decent. How about you?
Made wife went out of town, which when I say went out of town, she went one town over because I thought she was going further out, but no, she's just one town up. Yeah, one town up north. But she's gone all weekend. But because everybody else that she's with is from further out of town, so they're all getting a hotel 5 minutes from the house.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we don't entertain, so none of them could stay here.
Right.
I don't like her friends.
I'm sure the feeling's mutual.
Yeah, she doesn't like mine either. I'm like, well, I've only got like 3, so I get that.
Wait. Am I one of those people that she doesn't like, or am I not really a friend?
I think you're all just lumped into one, like, my friends.
Okay.
Like, she doesn't even know your guys' names. She just knows she doesn't like you guys.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. But, when she's gone, we can make good food. And I made goulash for the kids, but I had to adjust the goulash because I didn't have hamburger meat.
Okay.
So I put bacon spam in it instead. Basically, all it is a spam. I make a mac and cheese. 3 boxes because it just makes a huge batch. Yep. 3 boxes of Kraft mac and cheese, a can of diced tomatoes, and I cube up spam and I fry up the spam on the side. It all goes in one, gets mixed up, makes a poor man goulash. Good stuff.
That just sounds fantastic. That sounds amazing. You always have the best dishes.
I just start throwing stuff in a pot.
It works.
This shouldn't work.
Yeah.
You don't strain. Yeah. You don't strain the diced tomatoes. You just liquid and all.
Yeah. Really I don't know that my kids would like. My kids would probably like it, minus the tomatoes. They're
Normally,
not huge for people, but
normally I use the petite diced tomatoes because they're diced up a
Okay.
lot more, and you just. But all I had was a can of the normal, and I had just giant chunks of tomato. My kid's like, not a fan of the giant chunks of tomato. I'm like, I don't eat, and I'll have. I mean, complain about it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Normally I said it had. Normally I put ground beef, put hamburger meat in it. I've done hamburger meat. I've done ground turkey, and I've also done spam in it. It's all good. Spam and mac and cheese is delicious to begin with.
spam and mac and cheese is probably what I should fix tomorrow.
God,
That's
so good.
Probably wish I'd.
I-
Because my wife is also out of town, so I get to fix whatever I want.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, we're gonna be eating homemade pizza with my parents tomorrow, so I don't have to cook. I'm trying to think of what else I've ate over the last couple. It's been boring. I think we had enchiladas. My wife made enchiladas. I've been making these every time she's got this recipe she makes enchiladas with. And I'll take like 2 of the shells, and I'll just slice some Velveeta cheese, and roll up and make like 2 cheese enchiladas. That's just stuffed with just gooey, unhealthy
gooey.
Velveeta cheese.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. So that. Trying to think, what else have I ate? Did a really good breakfast scramble the other night. Fried potatoes. What did I put in that? Fried potatoes, spam. I love my spam. Fried potatoes, spam, and eggs, all just scrambled in one skillet. I always keep cans of spam in the counter over there in the kitchen. So I'm like, this needs meat. Dice up spam.
Yeah. The fancy chefs call that the protein.
Yeah, it is. It's an easy protein because you don't even have to cook it that much.
Yep.
You don't even have to cook it at all if you don't want to.
Yeah.
So. So, moving on to some news, some gaming news.
Okay.
When does Decisions UI drop?
Technically, it was last night at 6 or 7
it's
o'clock.
live already.
It is live right now.
Okay. I haven't kicked on
Live.
I haven't kicked the game on in a couple weeks. I didn't even get the 2 Paradox.
Shame.
For one, they've just made them stupid hard where you have to do a lot of prep to get them, or just get lucky in an online match. Or that and it's just one of those. It's hard to keep up with all the events they're doing.
But we're going to work on something. I haven't trained it up.
Well,
but we could figure something out. But there is a method that I put in the Google machine, or I looked up, where you can have a Magnazone, one person a Magnazone, and one person a Miraidon, and then one shot after 3 turns the Decidueye.
nice.
Haven't got to see it in action, but I've seen it almost happen, so I'm pretty sure it's a thing. But basically, the Magnazone, you do Metal Sound. Each of you do Metal Sound your first move, and then the next move, Miraidon charges, and then Magnazone Metal Sounds again, and then on the third move, Miraidon unleashes its charged Electric Drift, which is its signature move,
Mm-hmm.
and Magnazone does Helping Hand to increase its power.
Do you have to have 2 Magnazones?
No.
Oh,
It's supposed to be just one Magnazone, one
Miraidon does the
Metal Sound
as
also.
well? Okay.
Both of them Metal Sound the first.
The reason I'll trade you my Koraidon for Miraidon Because in my Scarlet game, I can actually still have access to Koraidon. Because I can, the one that you ride on, the rideable one, the whole game, you can actually pull them up into your party, train them up, and use them for stuff. So I'd still have access to my Koraidon, with even if I trade the one that I caught away to you.
Mm-hmm. Are you able to use it in Terra battles?
I've never tried, but I don't know why you wouldn't. You can put it up in your party. You just can't box it.
Okay.
You should. But
I'm not building that.
I would rather have, at this point, I'd rather have a Miraidon because I've never used one. I think they look cooler.
Yeah.
I'm just sad I can't ride on one. I will say, no Pokemon games yet in the online, but they did drop some new games.
Yep.
Yep.
Metroid Fusion dropped.
It did not.
Metroid Fusion did drop.
I thought that it didn't. They were talking it was going to, but then they dropped Game Boy games. They dropped Burger Time Deluxe, Kirby's Dream Land 2 for the Game Boy. And then they dropped Zervis. It's a shoot 'em up. It's a top to bottom, bottom to top shoot 'em up game for the NES. And then Super NES got Corner Pocket, Side Pocket.
Ooh, fun. Okay, that'd be fun.
It's a bowling game that you play with billiards. I'm just joking.
I was like, what? You just about blew my mind. A bowling game called Side Pocket. Oh, gosh.
At least we didn't get a pool game called Strike.
Yeah.
But that was the only games I had heard that they actually dropped into any of the services. I'd heard rumor about Fusion, but I heard it didn't actually. I can't go check because I don't have a Game Boy Advance.
I can confirm because I looked this morning and it is on there.
Is it on there? Okay. I had heard that it didn't.
So now you can play if you have the premium service, you can play the first 4 Metroid games.
Nice.
Yeah. But I heard that the other one, like there's 2 remakes that are supposedly just way better than the originals. The Game Boy Advance remake of Metroid 1 is just supposed to be far superior than the NES version, which I would be like, And then the Metroid 2 was remade for the 3DS.
Yeah, but that one's like Metroid 2 for the original Game Boy was so good. I owned it.
You can play it now. Now you can play all of the originals. None of the remakes, but all of the originals in the first 4.
My question to you, do you still have a 3DS?
Dude.
You do? Do you have Pokemon Red on your 3DS?
I do not.
You need to go on and buy that before the eShop closes. Because
I have to pull up. So I did something bad and I bricked my newest 3DS. So I have a backup, but I haven't pulled it out yet. But I do need to pull it out and get all of my stuff onto it before they shut down.
I need to get mine out and charge it and pick that up. I watched a video from Austin John Plays that shows how to get a shiny Mew in red that you can transfer to Sword and Shield.
What?
Yeah.
But just red, not blue?
In order to make it shiny, you have to have red. So I started playing Pokemon Red on my emulator, right? And I recreated his glitch that allows you to catch a wild Mew in Pokemon Red. Took me about 2 hours. It works. But then you have to play another about 10 hours to get to the point where you can make it shiny. and you really have to do like specific steps and like break the game. You have to do the missing no glitch to get certain stuff, and then you have to glitch the game that allows you to dip into back end items that you can't, that are like dev items that will then make the Mew legitimate to where it can actually be, because the one you catch in Celadon, the game doesn't recognize it as yours or a legitimate. It's almost like a cloned, like if you get a cloned stuff. So you have to do some stuff to make it legitimate, then you do another thing that makes it shiny, but it doesn't actually change the way it looks in Red, because Red didn't have shiny Pokemon. But when you put it into the transfer portal, it puts it into Pokemon Bank, but then can be transferred from Bank to home. Then when it gets into home, it'll be shiny. Because it was an event. It was an event-only shiny Mew that you can glitch into the game legitimately without like jailbreaking or doing any modding.
Wow, that sounds intense.
You should watch his video. His video goes into, I'm like, wow, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm savvy enough to do all this. There was at one point where you did something to break the code, and then you have to take like 15 steps this direction and 30 steps straight down, and then 80 steps this direction. And if you do that perfectly, it puts you in somewhere, and you go off the map, and I'm doing just a playthrough of Red, just because I'm wanting to play through all the originals. And I got to the point where you can catch a level 7 Mew at Nugget Bridge. And I did that glitch just so I have a Mew in my emulator playthrough.
Yeah.
And it's not actually hard to do. You just have to make sure you don't go too far into the game. Because I guess if you get to Celadon City and as soon as you get into Celadon, if you talk to Misty and start the gym battle, you can't do the glitch.
Oh, okay.
And you have to defeat Nugget Bridge, catch an Abra before you fight that trainer on that side grass. And then, like, you get up.
I didn't even know you could beat Nugget. I never even tried to beat Nugget Bridge without fighting Misty. I don't think.
I think I always did to gain levels so that I'd be strong enough to. That's like more trainers you fight that boosts your levels. But that trainer on the side, you just don't. You have to like get to a spot, and you have to like come down while spamming the pause button. And if you get it in the right place to where you're within fight range of him, and you pause at the right time, you teleport with Abra. And when the menu goes off, his like explanation point comes up, like he wants to fight you, but your character your little sprite becomes a couple illegible letters, and you disappear and appear back in town. But you can't.
Okay.
But you can't access any of the menus, and you can't talk to anybody.
Okay.
So then
does the game make him walk towards you so you can go behind him now?
No.
Is that how that works?
No. I just think the game partly thinks you're in battle, but you're not in battle. So now you have to go back up across Nugget Bridge, and you have to go and fight a very specific trainer up closer to Bill's house. And after you defeat him, you get your menus back, and you teleport back to Celadon with Abra. And then you go back to Nugget Bridge, and when you get almost to the first trainer at Nugget Bridge, level 7 Mew appears.
Huh. Easy. Alright.
I'm like, I was sitting there watching this video, I'm like, there's no way this works. So I just started up Red on an emulator. did it. I'm like, oh, this works. Shoot. Never mind. I guess I'll beat Red with a Mew.
Yeah.
If you have a 3DS and you have Pokemon Red, go get yourself a Mew. Watch Austin John Plays. He has a whole video on it. Because even if you want just, I think you have to do all the extra stuff. Because I think if you just catch the level 7, I don't think you can transfer that to home. I think you have to do the 8F glitch to make it legitimate in order to transfer. Because you do know if you have Red and Blue on the 3DS, you can get those Pokemon into Pokemon Home, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have any of them.
They're like $9, $9 or $10 a piece on the 3DS eShop, and it's closing like next month.
Yeah.
And then you'll
so
never
the question really boils down to: is a $9 or $10? Do I want a shiny Mew for $9 or $10? Like that's what I'm doing. Because you know that soon, probably this year, those are coming to the Switch. Now, are they going to?
So?
I think so, and I think that since the game's made, all of the glitches should still work.
Oh, you're talking about when they come to the Game Boy emulate.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try it.
I bet that they work
as soon as red or because that glitch to get that Mew will work in blue. But to make it shiny, you have to have an Ekans, which you can only catch in red. And there's something else. You have to have something else that you can only catch in red. I can't remember what it is. There's like 2 Pokemon that you would either have to trade from red to blue or just play off of red. I don't know why because you have to have a specific, like 5 Pokemon in your party, and you have to have these 15 items of a specific quantity each in the specific order in your inventory. But you have to but the missing note glitch has to be used because you need like 135 of one item stacked in one location, like 152 of another. And the only way to do more than 99 is the missing note glitch.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
But that's what? My question to you now. What is the next 7-star starter raid we're going to get after Decidueye? Do we even know?
We don't know. But my guess, because they're moving up, aren't they? They're going, so...
They skipped some, though. They went Gen 1. So what was the second one? They did... Well, they did Gen 1, Gen 8.
Oh, no, they did the bunny. Never mind.
They did Gen 1, Gen 8. Then they did Gen... What was the frog? That's 5 or 6?
Yeah. And then they did a Pikachu, so it wasn't even a starter.
Well, technically, he's a starter in yellow, but...
I guess that's true. That's true.
I don't think he was part of that because he was part of the Pokemon Day celebration, because he wasn't available very long.
Right.
So... There I was thinking that they're going to do, a pattern, but they're like, we're Pokemon Company, and we're not going to let you guess.
Yeah.
So they could do, I would like to see a Cyndaquil. A Quilava. Or the Gator. The water type from Gen 2.
Yeah.
What's Feraligatr, I think's his name?
I think so, yeah.
That's what I'd love to have him in Scarlet.
Yeah. What terror type do you think it would be?
Crocodile, Florida man, Florida man terror type. What would he be? Because he was just a straight water. You know,
All water. And so the terror types were like, well, what do you think they could have been? But you would think he would just be straight water. Could it maybe be ground? I mean, could you justify? I mean, because they got crocodile, which is
Yeah.
a gator, and it's ground.
my first thought went to dark.
Okay.
Because bite and crunch are dark type moves.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. If
That
that stab or just being terrestrialized.
because that's a crocodile's going to use those moves.
Yeah, that makes sense. That was the one thing. The downside to Decidueye is it's the first one of these that they put out that you can acquire that Pokemon with that Terra type without catching it in that raid and without using Terra shards.
What do you
Because Rowlet is a grass flying. So when you breed your Decidueye, you have an opportunity to get a Rowlet with either grass Terra or flying Terra. And if it's a flying Terra, then you just evolve it up, and then it could become a flying Terra type Decidueye.
Because the Decidueye with the Mightiest Mark is flying Terra.
Yeah. It's grass ghost, but it's a flying Terra.
Which is weird.
Every other Pokemon that they've released, in order to obtain that Pokemon with that Terra type, you either had to catch it in the battle or use shards to change its type after breeding.
Charizard was Dragon type.
Yep.
But oh yeah, because kicking Bunny is fighting type, and he doesn't gain the fighting Terra type. He doesn't gain the fighting subtype till he evolves to third evolution. That's right.
Right.
Weird.
And then Poison Greninja, obviously. Surfing Water Pikachu, obviously.
Yeah.
But this one, because I did the Decidueye and I bred it, and I'm like, oh, that's you can have a flying. Okay, never mind. It's
interesting.
Yeah. But it's Pokemon. They could do something totally crazy. We might get something that's ridiculous, like a Sunkern. Like the worst Pokemon in the game. And make it a 7-star fire Terra type.
They're probably going to do my least favorite of all of the starters next.
Ooh, what would that be?
That penguin.
Oh, that one's not bad.
I hate it 100%.
It evolves into an Impeleon, and that's like a Steel type.
I hate it.
But that's one that they could do Dark type because it's a Dark type in Arceus.
I don't.
That's it.
It is.
I'm trying to think of what is the worst. What is the worst starter?
That one. I always thought it was the seal from Sun and Moon, but its third evolution is actually OP. And it's actually really good. I used it in... Honestly, I used it in one of my Nuzlockes in Sword and Shield. I believe. But... Yeah, the penguin's the worst of all the starters. I just think it looks stupid. I don't like the way it's modeled. I don't like its look. From the first evolution to the last evolution, I just think it's stupid. Compared to all the other starters.
I don't know. I'm thinking of, I don't know. I'm going to look them up right now. I'm going to throw it in my searching screen and say Pokemon starters because I know I'm not thinking of all of them. See which one I think is the worst. You know, you actually might be right. You might be right. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Litten or the pig. I don't know. I think my vote would be the pig. That would be my vote.
But the pig's third evolution is better than the Penguin?
Better than a giant metal penguin?
Now, which one? There's two Penguin. Oh, no, yes, it is the Penguin. Because I always get the Penguin and that stupid otter thing mixed up too.
Right.
But at least the otter, its third evolution confused me.
Yeah, that is very. Yeah. Yeah.
I was always confused with its third evolution. Can I change my vote that's my least favorite, even though the third evolution looks pretty cool. It's still lame as hell.
I can give you, as far as just starters. I think
first evolution?
Oshawott, yeah, that first one. I would still vote for the pig, but I wouldn't fight you over that one.
I will tell you
And aren't the pig and Oshawott from the same? They're from the same game, aren't they?
Yeah, they're black and white.
Pig and Oshawott.
That's black and white.
Yeah. Lame starters.
Are all three of those starters just so forgettable?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to remember the name of the grass one. I got it in front of me, but I can't remember the name of that salamander looking thing. Are the grass starters between, Gen 3 and what's that? Would that be Gen 5? Unforgettable or just forgettable?
Yeah.
Like, what is the name?
Even though that Turtwig,
yeah, the
I
giant
can't remember
land
the gecko
turtle.
one. Yeah, the giant land turtle was awesome.
The geckos. That's the one. Did you ever play Pokken Tournament?
Not often.
Its third evolution was in Pokken Tournament. Has that weird spiky tail back behind it that's got all the weird spikes. Stands on 2 feet.
Yeah, I can't remember because I know the one you're thinking of. I think is Seviper, or that might be its third evolution.
That's its third evolution.
I don't know. No, I think the third evolution's Superior.
Something like that.
So I think that one's Seviper. I don't remember the gecko one. We can look up allgamezones.com's rating. It's lost.
This doesn't give their names.
Never mind. Won't give up there.
Oh yeah, Chespin was the one I was thinking of. And that was Chestnut was its third evolution.
That was from Sword and Shield, right? Or no, that was
X and Y.
yeah.
That was Froakie, Finnegan, and Chespin. Finnegan was always a confusing one because it was a fox, and then it just became a. Delphox was just. How is this related to that? How is this even a thing? Because it was Fire Psychic, and that was like the first time we'd ever got one of those.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
This shift.
Do you remember the? Yeah, let's go. Do you remember the show Monk? TV show.
Yeah, it was
Detective.
Tony Shalhoub.
It's getting a movie
Is
called Mr. Monk's Last Case, a Monk movie, and it is Tony Shalhoub.
Nice.
He will be returning as Monk. I don't know when it's coming out, but they're working on it. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be one last very personal mystery.
I stopped watching that show. I used to watch the crap out of that show, and it just I fell away from it.
It was one that I didn't watch, but I have seen it.
That kind of,
If somebody was watching it and I was at their place, then I would watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I never got into it personally.
it's one of those. There's nothing else on. There's Monk, and I just watched an episode here and there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll have to look into that. Hey, before we get into our movie, that was some interesting breaking news. We watched a comedy special this week that you told me to watch.
Oh, you watched it?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I've never laughed harder. Never laughed harder. I just want to say, there's going to be some spoilers. Spoilers. We watched, so Brett Kreischer dropped a new, there's a whole joke online about people mispronouncing his name. I had to butcher it a little bit. His new special Razzle Dazzle came out this week. The crawl space in the escape room had me choking to death of laughing. I almost died. I've been dealing with this light cough. And, oh my gosh, when he farts in his dad's mouth.
Yeah.
Funny, I think I mentioned something about me farting in your mouth before watching this, and I'm like, this is now happening.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what got us on this subject, I think, is when you said that. And I
Oh,
like,
was
have
it?
you
Is
seen
that what it
Razzle
was?
Dazzle? Have you seen Razzle Dazzle yet?
God, it was so good. I actually also watched Chris Rock's new special, which you said you watched that one. Really
Yep.
good.
That was also good, yeah.
Two really good specials.
Yeah. Netflix does a pretty good job producing these good quality
My
stand
favorite
up.
My favorite thing about the Netflix specials, and Amazon Prime does some good ones too, is they don't censor them. They let them go, and they've caught backlash on that recently. Well, Dave Chappelle's special caught some backlash, and like the head of Netflix actually came out after they were telling, a lot of people were saying that Netflix should pull it down and they shouldn't support that kind of talk, and he came out and said, we promote free speech. We're not going to deplatform because a couple people got mad, and they're sticking to their guns.
Yep.
And they're letting them talk. Come on. My opinion is, if a stand-up special doesn't offend at least a couple hundred people, it's not a good stand-up special.
You're actually probably pretty accurate on that. You're pretty accurate.
Razzle Dazzle, there really wasn't much in there that I could see. I could see some people getting it wasn't
the Foxtrot skit.
The what?
With the teacher bawling about her mishap where she assumed the genders of the students.
Oh, that
I could see that one ruffling some feathers.
I will say the raffle ticket.
the joke that he did after that, he's like,
yeah.
I don't care who my daughter dances with, boy or girl, I don't care. And then he dropped the punchline. It was like, okay. Oh gosh.
The raffle ticket part was good too.
Yeah.
What'd you guys win? Oh wait, no, I won it all. My bad. The whole special had me rolling. What? It was good.
Yeah.
I'm just sad that same thing. Every time I watch a new special, I get sad at the end because I'm like, was that it? Now, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I will tell you, I've been watching that show. I don't know if I've talked about it on here. I think I keep meaning to talk about it on here, and I keep forgetting. Have you watched any of that new show on Fox called Accused?
Yes, we just finished the one where they were with the reservation kids.
Ooh.
That was the last one. So I think we're like 2 or 3 behind.
I'm one behind because I didn't watch Tuesdays. I think I still have, because I don't remember what day I caught up, because I was 3 episodes behind. I watched like 3. The stand-up comedian episode was the last one I watched. One with Whitney Cumming in it. Have you watched that one?
Nope.
That one's a rough one. That one's hard to watch. There's some just hard-hitting. I love this show. What do you think about the show?
I like it. I like it. The last one we watched was kind of triggering because it hit. It was funny for my wife and I for 2 different reasons. My wife is Native.
Yeah.
And I am. Can I say anti-government without getting canceled?
Well,
I don't know. I question our government's tactics.
I get that.
And so my wife and I were both triggered, but for totally different reasons after that episode. She we found out that we're going to be getting another nibbling, a niece or a nephew. And then my kids are like, "Oh, you guys should have a baby." And I was like, we're both upset. Should we have a baby? And she storms off, goes, "I'm not having a baby with a white man," and just walks away. Like, oh, all right. All right. That's
Go try to find you an Indian.
but that was a good it was a good one. But yeah, it's they're pretty intense. They're pretty intense. Like they're the ones that make you just go, I wonder. Yeah.
I have one question, because you're the only person I know that has also watched these episodes that I haven't went and searched on. Like, I'm not a forum person. I think it was Danny's story. The one with the stepmom where he stabs her.
Oh, yeah.
Did that one just end abruptly with no real...
There
wasn't
ended
much...
I mean, there wasn't, but there kind of was. It was almost like
wasn't.
He was just screwed. Like, it ended, but in such a sour way. Like, he was probably right, and he's just stuck in a mental asylum now.
She's like, yeah, he's stuck in a mental asylum. She's crazy, manipulative. She created this whole problem. He's in a mental facility, and then the episode just ends with no... All the other episodes had ended with, the good people winning.
Yeah.
This one didn't. And I'm like... It just ended, and I was like, okay, after the commercial break, we're gonna... Then it just start... I'm like, dang it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to circle back with any of these characters, or is this literally just all one-offs?
I bet it's just a one-off. I bet they end it with you just mad. I think that it was on purpose. Like, you're just like, no, that just sucks. That sucks. I think they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
So I kind of respect it. I kind of respect it. I kind of hope that I hope that they don't circle back. I hope that they just leave you going.
I get that.
Man, that sucks.
The Whitney Cumming episode is it's rough. Well, you know who Whitney Cumming is, right?
Yeah.
Because
she's kind of a female
comedian.
kind of vulgar.
Yeah. In this next episode, she actually plays an up and coming stand-up comedian. Her character is a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
So,
do you after watching it, do you feel like maybe they kind of dipped into some truth, like some realism there, or is it just?
I don't want to say too much. I don't want to give away the episode. I don't know what if you know anything about the episode on what they're going to hit on this episode. I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
I know the deaf surrogate mother was a rough one to watch. My gosh. Tears.
That was crazy.
Tears.
That was crazy.
Like, no. But
that one spawned a bunch of questions. Like, just morality, philosophy,
I like.
You just go, man. Now I'm thinking about all these other things. That hits you.
I kind of like how they're bringing in some fairly well-known actors and actresses in these shows, in these episodes, because that one had the guy from The Boys and X-Men, and the guy that played the father.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in some stuff. Then it had Chickless was in the first episode.
Chickless.
Michael Chiklis. He was the bald guy. He was the doctor in the first
Oh,
episode.
that's what I didn't know. Yeah. He was
from the Shield.
Thing.
The what?
Wasn't he the Thing? And
Yes, he was the Thing in Fantastic Four, and he was from that crime show, cop show, The Shield. I think it was called.
Never watched it.
Didn't watch much of it. I just knew that he's in it.
Okay.
I want to say the episode with the father and the little girl. That one was the hardest one to watch. I'm like, don't do this to me. As fathers with daughters,
right?
It's like, don't make this real.
Right? Oh man, yeah, that was. I don't know, and that's one of the, and that was also a suck. That's a sucky one too. That was like that kid. That one was kind of a sucky one.
Yep. Oh yeah,
on multiple levels because his friends screw him over, and like you're just kind of left going.
He ends up just going to. It ends with him going to jail, doesn't it? Or he's still he's in.
I think it's implied. I think it's implied that he probably will.
Because his friends never testify again. They never find out that his friends were lying. Oh, that's right, because the detective did say that he wasn't going to give up on him, and then it just rolls credits, and you're like, I hate you.
Yep.
You know what I didn't hate? Our movie we watched these 2 weeks.
Retro movie review.
Your first time watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we watched, for those who didn't know, we watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Really good movie.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where I had some questions, and maybe I need to go back and watch it again, and maybe because it's one of those like had a Pulp Fiction-y with its timeline. So I'm wondering, after watching it, did I watch the beginning did I watch the end at the beginning, or has this happened multiple times? No. Like, did they start with the end and then they tell you the beginning and then circle back with the end? Okay.
So
that's helpful. But I thought at the beginning of the end, like he drove off, but then at the end of the end, she gets in the car.
So there's like
instead of him driving off.
I think there's bits and pieces of that first section before the credits roll, the opening credits roll, that's future and past. Because, like, I think when Elijah Wood's character knocks on his window and asking him why he's there, everything after that jumps back to the past. Because then they're on the lake and they're... No, the lake is when they come back, isn't it? The lake had already happened because they're coming back from the lake. I think they did the lake part a couple times. Where they're on the frozen lake.
Because the first time, I think it just went back and forth. Because the first time you met him, it seems like that was actually the second time. Because the first time that they actually really met was when he was with his friends.
Correct.
And they were having a big bonfire.
That's what...
But the first time you see them... I was going to say, the first time you see them, though, it's when they're alone and he acts like he has no idea who she is. And then they just kind of meet on the train. But that's technically the second time?
Yeah, it's the second time.
I guess?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, were they both supposed to be like? Were they supposed to be like on the spectrum? Like both of them? Did you pick
Yeah,
up on any of that? I kind of was just like when they were on the train, they were both kind of just like that.
weird,
They were just kind of
awkward.
awkward. Yeah, yeah, they're just kind of awkward. Where there's like he's just doing his thing and she's just all up in like it's just kind of both like.
Can I go?
I just wondered.
Can I go a little edgy and say something that might get myself in trouble?
Do it.
Was the Spectrum? Did the Spectrum exist in 2004? Did we really know what the Spectrum was back then?
I don't know.
I'm not gonna, they probably were. The
I
characters
think
probably were, but is that what it was back then, or were they just socially awkward, like most of us were before dating apps?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, a serious question because I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember, that till 10 years ago. 15 years. I know I'm kind of behind.
But it was a thing. We just didn't know that it was a thing. So people acted like that.
But we didn't know.
But right.
They just lumped it into ADD and ADHD back then.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
So, I love this movie, and I always forget. This is one of those movies that you watch a couple times, but then you just forget just how many people are in this movie. Mark Ruffalo had a weird role.
And he looked so young.
He did.
And it wasn't that long ago. I mean, I guess it was 20 years ago. But
2004?
Golly, that's crazy to think
Kirsten
about. 2004
Dunst?
was almost 20 years ago.
Kirsten Dunst, she looked like a teenager in this. But Elijah Wood looked old. He'd just got...
I mean, maybe just because you're used to seeing him as a kid.
Well, this was 2004, so he'd have probably already finished up all of Lord of the Rings at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last one came out in 2005, and they filmed them all at once.
Yeah.
So this was like post Lord of the Rings. So, honestly, probably one of my top 3 favorite Jim Carrey movies.
Oh, that's a bold statement.
It's just so good. I like when not many comedians can do a serious role, like a serious serious drama movie like this, well,
right,
and still kind of make it funny. When he's being serious is when he's almost the funniest.
Right. Yeah, he never has. He didn't have to go into his goofy Jim Carrey. No, he never hit that in this. Not once.
No, it just showed how good of an actor he is.
Yeah.
He has one. There's one other serious movie that he's in that I really like called The Majestic. That's really good. That's not labeled as a comedy, but his acting comedy comes out. My favorite all time is got to be Ace Ventura, by the way.
Nice.
But all right, let's get. Okay, so Metacritic. 41 critics, and this has got the must-see stamp of approval.
Oh, goodness. Whatever that means.
Metacritic must-see right beside the score out of 100.
Okay. I'm going to think the critics are going to give it a 76.
I feared you would have went the other direction since it was a must-see movie. Because if you would have told me it's a must-see movie out of 100, I'd have been, I'd give it like a 92. But they gave it an 89.
Ooh, that's still pretty high. That's pretty high for a critic.
For 41 critics, yeah, that's pretty high. Now, this one might shock you a little bit. 1,198 users out
That
of
does
10.
shock me.
That's a lot of reviews. But this
That's a lot of reviews.
out
Because
of 10,
I had never heard of this movie, so I figured it probably didn't do well, and I would assume it'd be a flop. So I would think the user would give it like a 6.2.
is that what you're thinking?
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, this is the closest I've really seen in a long time of the users and the critics really agreeing, because they gave it an 8.8.
Oh, that is super close. Oh man.
Like, there's
Wow.
this is one of those movies that I could see people not liking, just because of the pacing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I could see the linearness of it, and like what
Right,
you were
exactly,
saying,
yeah.
how confusing the timeline is. But that's what I like about it. I like movies that just kind of hop back and forth and really confuse you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was well, good. I'm glad
So-
it got received. I just wonder why I haven't heard of it.
That I'm not sure. Maybe I think the reason I know it about it, because I'm a, well, I'd say right about the time me and the wife first got together, about 06, 07, and then about a couple of years after that, for about a 5-year span, I just was on a huge Jim Carrey kick. I own like all of his movies, and we got on a huge DVD buying kick when we first got married. And I
Yeah.
was buying, like, I was like Googling all of Jim Carrey's movies and just watching all of his whole work. So that's kind of how I know.
My wife and I did the same thing, except with Johnny Depp.
Same, yeah. So
Yep,
you
we
probably
did the same thing. We would go almost weekly to go to vintage stock and
Game
buy
Exchange,
used Johnny Depp.
Game Exchange in your town was one that we'd go to a
Yep.
lot.
Yeah.
So we were watching.
What?
What?
I was gonna say. Well, if you keep going, I was gonna say what did the
Oh, yeah.
what did Boston Chronicle have to say? I'm curious.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into that. So the critics gave it 40 positive, 1 mixed, 0 negative. Users 1,071 positive,
Wow,
46
that is
negative.
crazy.
No, 46 mixed, 42 negative. So that's how it had such high. Daily News gave it 100. A
Wow.
masterpiece, question mark. Probably ingenious, question mark. Absolutely, exclamation point. Unforgettable, question mark. I'm not getting these right, so I'm having to say what they put behind it.
Okay.
I'll see you at the 10th year anniversary. Well, we're past that already, Chief. The Christian Science Monitor, change your name,
Oh,
I don't
man.
like it, gave it 100. A
Oh.
complicated story that demands your full attention. That's truth. Mr.
Yeah.
Godry unfolds it at a mind-bending pace. This alone makes it a huge, refreshing respite from ordinary multiplex fare.
Word vomit.
Let's skip down here and see if we can find. We gotta find. See if we can. The Austin Chronicle. There it is.
Yeah. What? There we go.
Gave it 100.
That's what I'm talking
A,
about.
a delightful little wormhole that takes us on a journey to another dimension of consciousness. I want to know who didn't like this movie. Ah, there it is. Baltimore Sun gave it a 50, lowest score.
Oh wow.
Wants to be a bittersweet comedy, but erotic loss and memory loss. But it doesn't have the heart or brain. It doesn't. I don't think it tries to be a comedy.
I don't think so either.
I don't get. There's no part of this movie that. I mean, there's some funny parts.
Yeah, but
Like
that doesn't make it a comedy.
Like the whole scene of him as a child under the table,
Yeah.
and her trying to distract him was hilarious. then him in the sink getting bathed was hilarious.
That was weird. It was very weird. That was a weird, trippy thing.
Slate. That's just the name. Gave it 100. This is the best movie I've seen in a decade. For once, it's no hyperbole to say unforgettable. Got him.
Nice. Got him. Yeah. What else you got?
I'm going to say that's all I've got. What have you got?
Well, I've got some common sense coming from a regular of ours, Nell Minnow.
Hey, I'm glad it's there. I was afraid they weren't going to have this one, because if you hadn't heard of it.
Right. So, Nell says 16 and older, 5 out of 5. Imaginative, loopy. Romance has mature themes and profanity. Parents say 4-star for 13 and older. Kids say 5-star for 13 and older. So,
kids really like them F-bombs they threw a couple times.
Yeah, they did. Yes, they did. All right. Positive messages. What do you think old Nell gave this thing for a positive message?
3.
1.
Ooh.
Yeah. Says the movie explores the idea that it's better to have loved someone and known all the joy the experience brings in spite of the hurt and sorrow that might come with the relationship and the relationship's ending than to go through life unscathed without having met that person. So I guess maybe because they just explored the idea that the message was just meh. I don't know. So positive messages, 1. Positive role models,
2. She steps up.
also 1.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yep. In spite of their imperfections and the difficulties in their failing relationship, Joel and Clementine grow to realize that the memories and experiences they shared are important and necessary to who they are as individuals. Which that just hit me just now when they're on the beach at the beginning of the movie, which was actually the second time they met.
Yeah.
And she was saying, they were on the, whatever. She said her name was Clementine and was like, don't make fun of it. And he was like, I think it's a great name. She's like, well, like the song, like,
oh, yeah.
And he had no idea. He's like, no, don't know. But then when they first met, he made that comment. It's because they erased, because he went back to the scene with the bath to hide with her, and they erased it. And so he had never heard that song sung by his mom that he had heard before, and that just hit me. Gosh, I need to watch it again. I just need to watch it again. So much to pick up on.
I didn't even I thought that was weird, but never put it together.
Yeah. All right. So violence and scariness.
You know what? Let's go on a limb because there were some weird face things. Let's give it a 3.
There was quite a bit of weird, Nell says not present, not even clickable.
Because that would have freaked me out.
Right? I mean, there was the whole everything shattering, things are falling, stuff is disappearing. There was quite a bit of stuff that I guess maybe it was more disturbing than scary.
Did she have any clickable stuff there?
No, nothing. Just not there.
Nice.
How about sex, romance, and nudity?
I bet she gave this a 4 because there were some buttocks at one point.
There is mention of that. She gives it a 3.
Wow.
She says, while reliving a memory as a tween, the lead character is caught masturbating by his mother.
Yeah, but
Characters are shown talking after having sex, and briefly exposed male buttocks.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't talk about what's her face dancing in her underwear with Ruffalo.
Oh yeah, Dunst.
Yeah, and then you also have Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
Kate. Yeah, she was in her underwear too.
Yep.
But so 3. So now we know that she says there's profanity in this movie, but how much profanity do you think?
Oh, profanity language.
Language, yeah.
4. There were some F-bombs. There was some strong language throughout.
Yep. So she says 4. She says frequent
Gotta get one.
profanity.
Yep.
The F word is used often. The B word. The other F word that is cancelable, which I think I do remember them saying that.
Oh, she did when she was when she was leaving when they first broke up, and he pulls his car off the fire extinguisher and he's driving beside her. She calls him that word.
Okay.
I remember hearing that one. I'm like, they try to hide that one.
Yeah, that was 2004, so that one was pretty risque. That was getting there. That was right around when that word started becoming taboo. The A word, the S word, and then the P word for a woman. How do you think about products and purchases?
Well, there had to have been something. Not present.
Not present, not clickable.
She doesn't like consumerism. Nell doesn't. Nell doesn't mess around with that stuff. I think if we went back and looked at all of Nell's reviews, 90% of them would have not present on that. I think Nell doesn't understand what it is the same as us. I think Nell's just as confused as we are.
Nell's in the, it needs to spawn action figures for it to be a product to purchase. So they're like, well, I haven't seen any, action figures of Joel, so nah, not gonna do it. How about drinking, drugs, and smoking?
I want to give it a 3, maybe a 2. But I feel like Nell's going to give it a higher.
Nell likes the 3. You are correct.
Okay. There was some beer drinking, and I think there was some light smoking. Did I see smoking? Oh, they were smoking the...
They're smoking, yeah.
They were smoking the smoky stuff, not just cigarettes. In the apartment.
Yeah. One of the lead characters is shown stumbling into an apartment after drunkenly driving her boyfriend's car into a fire hydrant.
Yep.
Characters are shown drinking beer and alcohol and acting intoxicated. Early in the movie, a character is shown pouring whiskey into her coffee while in a diner.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that part.
Characters smoke marijuana. In one scene, a woman is noticeably high and starts babbling uncontrollably in front of her boss. Cigarette smoking.
Yeah. All true stories.
So Nell says parents need to know that Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a 2004 movie that explores the oft-stated idea that it is better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. There is frequent profanity throughout the film. The F word, among others, is used quite a bit. Characters are often shown drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes and marijuana. In one scene, a woman stumbles into the apartment of her boyfriend after drunkenly driving his car into a fire hydrant. In another scene, a man is arguing with his girlfriend about how he likes to get high on marijuana to balance out being drunk. These scenes and the general theme of preserving memories in spite of the pain they cause in the aftermath of a failed relationship make this film best for mature teens and adults. Let's see. Here's an adult says 5 out of 5 for 12 and older, and that's it. Just says, doesn't say, just 5 out of 5. Another adult says there is some Gives it a 4 out of 5 for 14 and older. This was 6 months ago. Basically mentions some stuff that Nell mentions.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just a copy and paste post.
Almost. This says there are visual references to bullying in one scene. In the same scene, a young boy is pressured to hit a dead bird multiple times with a hammer. That wasn't mentioned, but they think 14 and older should be able to handle all of it. Children, 12-year-old, somebody said 12 and up, 5 out of 5. One of the most beautiful and emotionally potent romances I've seen. It's fairly child safe. There is some language, but no explicit sexual content. I want to know how old this kid is. I wish we could see that. And then a 14-year-old, this one actually says, 14-year-old, gave it a 5 out of 5 for 15 and older, and it said, "This made me cry so much." So that sounds like a 14-year-old girl. And that's it. No review, just "this made me cry so much," 5 out of 5. So yeah, really good movie. I want to watch it again. I want to see what, just reading this, I'm picking up on stuff that I didn't pick up while watching it. If I watched it a second time, I'd probably pick up so much more.
Probably.
What are we watching next week?
I don't know. What do you want to watch?
I don't know. I haven't even been looking yet.
I've had some suggestive ideas.
Yeah.
But I can't think of any of them. I'm got an absolute blank because there's a guy at work that's suggesting some good stuff. You know what? Have you ever watched, and I think we might have to get creative with this one.
Okay.
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now. Which one is that one?
It's from 1979.
Oh, wow. I don't think I have seen that.
It's got Marlon Brando, Martin Sheen, Dennis Hopper, Lawrence Fishburne, Harrison Ford. It's a Vietnam War movie.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down.
Shows it's on Amazon Prime Video, but
Something that we need to put in our bank because I've never seen it, and it's probably one that you have seen. And it's got a Tony Shalhoub in it. Galaxy Quest.
Love Galaxy Quest. Just saw that one pop across Netflix. Tim Allen. And
it looks like that's Gene Rickman, not Gene Rickman.
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. Looks like that's Alan Rickman.
I want to say Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah. We need to put that in our sometime this season. Watch that.
Yeah, that's 99. That's a good movie. Yeah, Sigourney Weaver, Tony Shalhoub, Sam Rockwell. Yeah, put it on my list.
But let's go with Apocalypse Now. Watch that one.
Is that the movie I think it is? It's one I need to put on my list. I don't know if we'll watch it, but have you ever seen a movie called R.I.P.D.?
Yeah. That's a pretty new one, though, right?
2013. With Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds. It's the Rest in Peace Department.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
I might watch that one this weekend. Because I've really been enjoying me some Ryan Reynolds movies.
Yeah.
Have you watched Six Underground?
Yeah, that's a good one.
I rewatched. Have you watched Red Notice?
Yeah.
God, such good movies.
Yeah.
I need to watch Adam Project's the next one I need to watch of his. It's on Netflix here.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I've yet to watch that one. Such good movies. There was another one. Oh, I was gonna rant about something I'm very mad about right now. Because I'm only mad because I'm poor.
Okay.
So, did you hear that Mel Brooks finally, after like 40, nah, it'd been more than 40, he made another movie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He finally released History of the World Part 2.
I don't think I've seen the first one. I need to watch the first one. I might watch that this.
We might shelve that, and we might watch that one in a review movie.
Okay.
But it's a Hulu exclusive. It's a behind a paywall that I don't have.
Rough.
I think he partnered with Hulu to make that movie.
Is it just like all you have to do is be subscribed to Hulu?
I don't because Hulu has like
It's got it does.
stair steps, and if you're there's some stuff that if you're a basic member you still can't watch on their service, and that's why I refuse to have anything Hulu. So what is there a free version of Hulu, or do you have to pay for their base mod?
I think you have to pay for the base. I don't think it has a free.
But it still has ads. That's it. Hulu Basic still has ads, and you're only allowed to watch certain stuff.
Yeah.
There's still stuff that's still locked behind a further paywall.
Yep.
That's where I'm mad about it, because they finally released History of the World. Because back in the day, he released History of the World Part 1, and it was a joke. The movie was real. But when they're like, hey, when's the second part coming out? And he's like, what second part? There isn't a second part. That was the joke. But now he finally has released part 2, and the previews I've seen of it look hilarious.
Okay.
But I don't think Mel Brooks has released anything in, I want to say, let me look up when the last time he made a movie was. I want to say Dracula Dead and Loving It may have been his. Oh, he did a movie called The Producers in 2005. Was his last movie.
Producers, wasn't it like a serious movie?
Never watched it.
Funny? Oh, it's a musical comedy.
Did he do The Fly?
I doubt that.
It says he's
But-
credited for it being his movie. I don't know.
So that's what we're doing.
So
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Watch it with us. Watch it with us.
Should be fun. I think we are going to call it there.
Call it.
What are we calling it?
Oh man, there's so what would we call this episode?
Not sure. But you're not going to hear anything, but they will. See you guys next week.